I plead with you, I beg of you, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, how do you renew your mind? By getting into the Scriptures and spending time with the sovereign Savior. Right. Spending time in prayer and spending time in what God has penned. I am telling you, that is how you... So we renew our mind. That's our responsibility. But our presentation is our responsibility. I say, God, I'm giving myself over to you personally. Present your body. That's personal. And that means to give it to Him, a living sacrifice. That's consecration. And God wants that. That is personal, practical holiness. Is the charge of God that God has given us. It's part of the call of God. The call of God that God has put on us. He tells us in 1 Peter, in chapter 2, in verse number 5, he says, ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house, and holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices, spiritual sacrifice acceptable to God by Jesus Christ. What is that spiritual sacrifice? Presenting your body a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. This is what God is trying to give you and I, or you and me, I think is the proper grammar there, to do. He is charging us because He's put a calling on our lives. For He that's called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation. That is the expectation that God has for us. We're a royal priesthood, a chosen generation. He tells us. Here's what He says, but you're a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, verse number 9 of chapter 2 of 1 Peter. And a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praise of Him who has called you out of darkness into His marvelous light. He said, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of God, which had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. So as we let Christ have His preeminent place, He calls us to be a holy people, a holy nation, a peculiar people, zealous of good works is what He tells us in Timothy. I mean, there's a desire, a hunger to do right, to live right. As we present ourselves to Him. We're a royal priesthood. We are to be this way. He's made us to be kings and priests unto God, His Father. So in this vein of personal consecration, God's called us to present ourselves to Him and Him only in 3 ways. And I'm going to be done. Number 1 is a warrior. Number 2 is a worker. And number 3 is a wife. He's called you to consecrate yourself to Him in those 3 ways. And those are not in a particular, I will preach them in or teach them in a particular order, though they are not in a particular order. Wife, warrior, worker, all of them. Worker, warrior, wife, you put them in whatever order you want to. All 3 of those things God has chosen us to be. And He has constrained us by our love for Him to do so. We'll see as a worker, as a warrior. We're to consecrate ourselves as a warrior. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. 2 Timothy chapter 2. And he says, verse number 3 was there, and he says, verse number 4, no man that warreth entangle himself in the affairs of this life, that he may please Him who has chosen him to be a soldier. God has called us to fight the good fight of faith, to be a warrior, to battle through. He has chosen us to do that. No man that warreth entangleth himself in the affairs of this life. When I was in the Navy, and it's true, when I was, nowadays too, when these Army guys go overseas, their wives still got a place to live. Matter of fact, our government ensures a lot of times that the families are taken care of while the soldier is gone. They give them a higher pay. Then they also make sure that if they live on base housing, they get to stay on base housing. If they live off base, they still get their pay for the housing. Why is that? Because they do not want the warrior to be a worrier. Now, there's nothing that's always going to keep you from worrying about what's going on in life. I mean, there's things that happen to your family and stuff, and you're going to say, oh no. But there's, I heard, I got a letter saying that little Joey, or I got an email, little Joey broke his ankle or something like that, and he's going to have surgery. You might be worrying about that. But they're doing their best they can to take care of that. That's why they got free medical care for their family. Why? Because you're at war. And you cannot take time to entangle yourself with the affairs of this life. You've got one thing to do. And that is to consecrate yourself, separate yourself to be a warrior. God has called us to be warriors. There's three things expected here. And you'll see them. There's a stamina expected. Endure hardness. Stay the course. Keep going. Don't give up. There is a stamina expected. Finish your course. And then there's a separation expected. When you're gone to the battlefield, when you're out on the field, families, nowadays families can get a hold of you. Back in those days, families couldn't get a hold of you. But even now, if I'm out at sea, or soldiers out on the field, and they're in the middle of a battlefield, it is difficult for the families to get a hold of them. It's got to go through this thing, and that thing, and this other thing. They got to get through everything, because his mind has to be on fighting the good fight. So there's a total separation to the call. There's a stamina expected. There's a separation that's expected. And there's a satisfaction that's expected. That he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. The reason we do it is that he might say, not just so that he might say yes, but that he might be pleased, and therefore he can say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. That he can say, we won the fight, I'm giving you a reward, we're battled, we have won, welcome into your rest. I am telling you, there's a warrior. Not only do I see this in the idea of a warrior's consecration, it's personal. He's chosen us to be a warrior. Not only has he chosen us to be a warrior, but he's chosen us to be a worker. A worker. He tells us in Romans 6, verse 22, being now made free from sin and become servants of God, ye have fruit unto holiness and everlasting life. Now I want you to see this in this Romans 6 and verse 22. I mentioned there's positional holiness. Watch this right here. Being now made free from sin. Look at there. That's positional holiness. Then we see this perfected holiness. We can see this. The end, everlasting life. Romans 6:22. I'll read that to you again. Now being made free from sin and become servants of God, you have your fruit unto holiness. And the end, everlasting life. And then we find practical personal holiness in this whole thing right here. And become servants of God. God has chosen us, made us to become servants of His, and as a servant, we do the will of the Master. And if we love our Master, we take our ear and put it up to the doorpost and let Him drive the yawl through it and say, I love my Master, and I love what He's given me, and I love what He's done for me, and I want to stay and serve Him. That's consecrated. When that man who was a servant was saying, you can go and do your own thing, he said, I'd rather do the will of my Master. So mark me as my Master's servant. That's the servant. That's the worker. So you see the warrior, see a worker, and you'll see your wife as a wife. The Bible calls a wife and help me for him. That's what the first time a wife is made. God was creating her to be a help me for him. Not help me. It's two different words. It's not a compound word in your Bible. It's a help me for him. God looked and said, Jerry, you need somebody that can help you in what I've got for you to do. And so guess what? I'm giving you a pack. And guess what happens? You say, well, now I don't know if you'd ever say this, you might, but Miss Pat would say, I've not always been the help I should have been. Brother Jerry would never say that. Miss Pat would say that because Miss Pat's humility. And she might say something like that. And the truth of the matter is, even sometimes when you don't think you're helping, because God made you to help Him, even though you might not have been helping in this situation, you might have been helping Him to learn to grow in grace and knowledge of God. You don't know how you're helping sometimes because you find yourself, if we look at our own selves and say, I failed in these areas. Well, we are the bride of Christ. He's called us to be His wife. As a wife, we're to submit ourselves to Him. But we're to be a help that was made right to accomplish what He needs accomplished through us. I've said it often. Some men will not let their wife handle finances. And some men say, you handle all the finances. Now that does not negate the man's responsibility. But he needs the help in that area. God made that woman that was meet for him to meet that goal, meet that position. To take care of that. I mean, I told people, if I ever pastor a big church, I don't want an associate pastor, I want a secretary. Organization is not my spiritual gift. I don't know if I have a spiritual gift sometimes. But I can tell you for a fact, organization is not my spiritual gift. I know how to organize. I know what to do to organize. But accomplishing it is not something I am good at. And I can tell you that's about most people I know. Organization, they got all these, oh yeah, we're going to do this. But getting it organized is a problem. But a good secretary organizes things and says, oh, you got this on your schedule for today. You got this on your schedule for today. And here, this start, you got to get this, and this will happen. This is what we got scheduled. These people are going to be in your office at such and such a time. You told me that, you know, the secretary calls the pastor. You say, why? Because it requires that in my life. But I know some pastors who say, oh, all I need somebody is to go do hospital visits. I need an associate so they can go make the hospital visits. Are you seeing different people have different needs? God made us to be His bride because there are needs that He has to accomplish in this world that will He's up there making intercession for us and is empowering us, lo, I am with you always, that if we yield ourselves to Him as a wife to her husband, guess what happens? We accomplish His will out in the community. We do the shopping. I've read Proverbs 31. All right? We might do the quilting. I don't know, whatever we need. I don't need anybody to do quilting. My wife says she likes, we've got enough comforters at our house that I don't need anybody to do any quilting. I don't need any more blankets and warmth in there. I mean, I've got enough of them. And, but praise God, I'm trying to tell you, whatever is needed to be done. God's called us. That's what personal consecration is. It's me saying, I am willing to be a soldier, a warrior. I am willing to be a worker. And I'm willing to be a wife under that one. All three of those things in the Bible way were full-time, all the way positions. Paul called himself a bond slave of Jesus Christ, a servant of Jesus Christ. That worker, that warrior, he doesn't have a choice about where to go to war at. And that wife, she doesn't have a choice after she became the wife. She gave up that choice. And guess what? She's trusting in her husband. The servant's trusting in his master. And the soldier, or the warrior, the worker is trusting in his master. The warrior is trusting in his general. Because they have a position, authority. And all he has to do is go about and do what they want to do. Personal consecration is me saying, I've enlisted in the fight. I'm a warrior. Tell me where to fight. I'm a worker. I put my ear to the doorpost. I love my master. And I'll be your bride. I'll be your wife. Tell me what you want for dinner. So, breakfast. What time do you want your coffee? I'm trying now to help my wife learn all the things that she's supposed to do. It's good marriage counseling now. Hallelujah. Whatever you need. That's where we're feeling good. That's what personal consecration is. The question is, do I want? Not just what is it. Do I want to be personally consecrated? Wholly separated. To be accomplished what we need to accomplish. Because that's what it's going to take